Bob, with a team like Wisconsin, you saw them pretty recently. How much attention do you have to pay to Cole Caulfield, and how much risk do you run if you pay too much attention to him with, Dylan Holloway and some of the other depth they have offensively?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to know where he's at. I mean, he's a world-class shooter, and he wants the puck, and he's going to shoot from everywhere, and he's got to have it to scoring goals. So as Bob Peters would say, dirty, rotten, filthy habit, just scores goals. So you do have to keep an eye on him. You got to know where he's at. There's no question.
I see a question from Randy Johnson.
Bob, what were the main takeaways from the previous series for your team? What can you learn off that one?
I kind of like how we prepared, after the Arizona series, how we prepared, our mindset, business-like. I like the way we traveled, went on the road. I liked our penalty kill, our power play, special teams battle. I just thought, we just had a really solid week to prepare, and whatever happened the week before, we had it flushed out. And that's what I like most about how we kind of had a business approach to us. And I like that.
Do you feel the team has the same intensity as the previous Wisconsin series going into it this week?
Yeah, I do. There's no question that there's always going to be a little more excitement in the air when you've got, your top rival coming in. But yet and it is the truth. It's we have 10 weekends to go, and this is five, we have 10 games to go, 5 weekends. And, I've never liked putting more pressure on one weekend than another. I like to have a business approach to it. And we're trying to keep that. We got to keep things in check because we have to be a disciplined team. We can't take penalties this weekend. It's Wednesday. We've gone through 3 days, and I've liked this.
Anyone with additional questions for Coach Motzko?
Bob, I wrote a little bit about your defense this week and how they contribute offensively. And, I specifically wrote about Lacombe, but are you seeing that kind of offensive contribution across the board? And are you okay with that, with guys stepping up in the play generally?
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah, we recruited those guys to come in here and be productive and that large group of guys outside of Stuck, from an offensive standpoint, are freshmen and sophomores. And we're starting to see, and they were young, that's a young group. And they're gaining confidence more and more as they go through, and we want them involved in the offense. They've got a green light, they got to play smart. And about a month ago, I was talking about, we had another gear to hit offensively. We've been doing very well defensively in our game. All the numbers, penalty kill, our goals against, goaltending, but our offense was and take out, and I don't mean the Arizona State, getting that, but we had another gear to hit offensively, and I think we're starting to hit it. And our defense is a big part of it.
And then we've gotten some clarity now about the Big Ten tournament. What are you hearing about the NCAA tournament? Do you have any more kind of clarity as what that'll look like?
Whatever you've heard, maybe it's more than what I've heard, because I have nothing to fill in.
Randy Johnson, do you have another question? Go ahead, Coach.
I have heard a couple of people talk about the pairwise, and the pairwise is completely useless. There is not one piece of it because it has to have a sample size from across league play. So I don't know if that kind of floats around some articles, but it's a completely useless tool this year. So how they're going to do it after that, you got to get on the phone, call some other people, because nobody's calling me.
I believe Randy Johnson might have another question.
Yeah, I'd add one more, Bob. Both your team and Brad Frost's team have the Badgers in town this weekend. Obviously, very little attendance because of COVID. Is there a little sense of melancholy there that, it could have been a really good weekend for hockey here? It still can be, but just not with the fans.
I'll answer it two ways. One, if this were a normal year, they would be coming out of the rafters this week, as we all know. And unfortunately, we're not going to see that. Two, I've been so impressed throughout our conference, how hard our players in our conference, and I'm sure the other coaches around the country are going to tell you the same thing. The intensity that these kids show up to play with no fans has been outstanding. And so I don't think that's not going to change. I mean, their instincts have taken over. They're playing hard right now. I don't think there's anything off. You get some of those momentum swings from big crowds, on the road. I think it's definitely affecting officials, where usually the crowds make calls, and they're letting everything go right now. So, but the players are playing their tails off, and I think you guys see that too.
We'll take a question from Todd from Wisconsin.
Todd from Wisconsin. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Good, Todd. How are you?
Good, thanks. You were able to keep the Badgers power play scoreless when you played them before. They've had some pretty good success since. Was there something key to that? I mean, with 5 forwards out there, they have a few different ways to go and try to present different approaches. How do you, as a penalty killing group, respond to that?
Well, you think I'm going to tell you the answer if
I don't think you're going to tell me the answer. I'm wondering how you approach playing a team that has 5 forwards, I guess. If that's any different.
Well, it's no different than, most teams are going to have their 5 best players out there. I know at St. Cloud 1 year, we had 5 guys running the power play, and Drew LeBlanc was on the point. He won the Hovey that year. So you're going to put your best players out there, and that's what they've done. It just happens to be 5 forwards for them. I mean, they've got some, they're very interchangeable. That's what makes them difficult. They're, Caulfield's usually standing in a different spot. He's, he'll be on the top, he'll be on the left, he'll be on the right, he'll be down below the goal line. That's what makes it dangerous. So I can't tell you, we have great secrets too, so I can't leak those out right now, but I'm kidding. But it's one of the best power plays in the country. The best thing we can do, we're the lowest penalized team in the country. The best thing we can do is stay out of the penalty box.
Any additional questions for Coach Motzko?
Let me ask you about that. The fact that your team as a general rule hasn't taken a lot of penalties this year. Has that been a point of emphasis? And you mentioned that the officials are maybe calling things a little differently. What do you see kind of playing into that you haven't been in the box a lot?
I mean, we've got a disciplined group. I've been very happy with that. I do think that is one of the things I've noticed. I haven't really heard around other places, but without the oohs and the ahs from the crowd that usually draw an official in and even gets them thinking they made a mistake. I think there's a lot of non-calls right now, and I'm not asking for more calls. I like the way things are going right now. But we also, we're only doing 1 timeout a period. Normally we do the 3, that means everybody plays. You've got to be on for short shifts. There might be a handful of things that are really playing into that. You only get the 12 minutes between period. You're getting right back out there. Believe it or not, I think that makes a difference in a mindset sometimes to the games. So, we took a few penalties this last weekend I wasn't happy with. And there were some calls that you just shook your head at. But we have to be a discipline. I've always felt college hockey is just a series of playoff series. Every weekend is a playoff series. It means so much in a normal year to your standings, to getting into the tournament. And you can't take dumb penalties in the playoffs. And my goodness, you sure can't take them in the regular season. How quick a hockey season is. And I think it's one of the for sure ways to win the special teams battle, stay out of the penalty box.
Sample, what do you take from the series there earlier this season against Wisconsin? What did you learn?
Yeah, they're a good team. They can score some goals. They have a lot of good players in there, and they play well. So we gotta be ready to go. We gotta be dialed in and take care of business.
Given your history with Wisconsin and everything, is it a special time for you when you're playing them?
Yeah, for sure. I love these games, and we for sure want to win.
Thank you.
Anyone else with questions for Sam? Oh, Jess Myers is going to go ahead.
Sample, your coach mentioned the fact that your team isn't taking a lot of penalties this year. He said, that's the best way to kill penalties is not have guys in the box. What plays into that? Why fewer penalties this year? Do you see anything that stands out in your mind?
Well, biggest thing is we're skating. We don't have to take penalties when we're skating. We're closing gaps and moving our feet. Stick detail too. Having good stick and coming up with the puck. So we don't have to reach from behind or do any of that stuff. So when we work hard, we don't have to take any penalties, and that's what we've been doing.
And we're well into the COVID season now. With guys getting tested multiple times a week, with all of the kind of different stuff. Is it becoming routine now, or does it still feel weird to walk into an empty arena and deal with all the different things you have to deal with?
It's a routine now. We're so used to it. We do it every day, and we have played some games without any fans, but it is what it is. But we are used to it, and like weekend like this, you don't even need fans. You get excited and you're ready to go.
Thank you.
Randy Johnson or Randy, do you have a question or did
I
skip
one more
you?
here.
Yep. Go ahead, sir.
Sample, Cole Caulfield leads the country in scoring goals with 14. You're right behind him with 12. Is there a little bit of a rivalry there between you two?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I know him. I played against him quite a few times, so maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's who has the better team, and as a team, we want to come out of this weekend as the winners, and whatever we have to do to win.
What makes him a really good player?
I mean, he can really shoot the puck. He's good with the puck, and he's dangerous all over the ice. He like you said, he can score for sure. And we just can't. We have to take time and space away from him, so he can't create as much, and just be hard on him.
Sampo, you've been in the United States a couple years now. This will be at least your third Super Bowl weekend. What did you think of the hype around the Super Bowl when you first came to this country? And is there anything like this that compares in Scandinavia? Any sporting event that kind of captures everybody's attention?
Nothing like Super Bowl. There's a couple of big soccer matchups that are huge in Europe, and Super Bowl it's pretty unique. And I love watching football, and it's always fun to watch a Super Bowl or any game, to be honest. And it's a great event for sure.
Do you tell your friends in Finland about the Super Bowl in America and about how kind of everything comes to a stop that day, or what are your thoughts on it that way?
Yeah, there's a lot of fans, football fans back home too. They know about the Super Bowl, but it's not as big, obviously, as it is here. But like when I talk to my sister and brothers, they know about Super Bowl, and I talk with them about it. So it's pretty fun, and when I watch they start paying attention more, and it's pretty fun.
And any prediction for you? Who's going to win?
I have to go with Tom Brady. I think he's going to get it done.
All right. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions for Sampo? Todd, go ahead.
Thanks. Sampo, in the times you've played Wisconsin, has there been any more chirping than any other team playing against them?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's a big matchup. It goes way back, and I think it's one of the best rivalries in the college hockey, and it's always heated to play with those guys, and both teams want to win, so it gets pretty heated for sure.
Does it get better when it's, first place and second place, kind of a best on best kind of matchup, teams that are really hitting their stride right now?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, both teams want to come this weekend as the winners, and right now we're first place, they're second place team in the Big Ten, so it's a huge weekend, and these are the games we live for. These are the games we dream about winning the look hits. Big rivalries, and just hard games, and it's just so fun to play.
Sampo, I'm going to ask you a question. You made the Dean's List last semester. Was the more online focus easier for you, or was it a big adjustment?
It was adjustments for sure. Everything going online and having, no classroom, time like that. But I got hold of it pretty quick, and like I said, I had a pretty good semester, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. I liked it.
Robbie, you were bombing away from the point pretty steadily last weekend in Columbus. Does it mean more to you to try and score against the Buckeyes, being that you're a Blue Jackets draft pick? And your first goal, by the way.
I'm sorry?
And that's where you got your first goal, by the way.
That is, yeah. I don't know. I try to raise my level of my play a little bit there, but I try to bring it every weekend I can. But no, I don't really put too much on a certain weekend. Like I said, I try to bring the same level of play every weekend, and just so happened I was able to get a few in there. Maybe one would have squeaked in, I hope, but it didn't, and that's okay though. We got the win.
Robbie, what are the highlights for you for this Wisconsin rivalry? What gets the juices going for this team?
Like Bob said today, or I think Monday, and he's like, we don't really have to do much coaching this week. I think our team and myself is going to be ready to go no matter what. Especially this year, they're a really good team, a lot of skill, and if you don't get up for this, I don't know what you would get up for. And I think the rivalry speaks for itself. It's got a lot of history, and we're looking to add to it. Hopefully, get on the right side of the game here this weekend.
What do you take from the previous meetings against them in Madison?
They're good, very good. I think if you look their first half, they were missing a bunch of their key players. They had a COVID issue. They're a completely different team, and we got them. I think that the first time we beat them, right when they're kind of hitting the swing of things, they've been really good since. So they're fast, they're physical. They'll probably open up a bit more with the big ice, but we got our hands full this weekend, especially with their forward group. But I think we'll be ready to go.
Thank you.
Robbie, I'll ask you one. Can you just go into some of Laffer's maybe intangibles? Like, everyone sees what he's like on the ice. What's he like as a person off the ice?
You can't say many bad things about Laffer. That kid earned everything that he got. He's so focused, just so, I guess, dialed in at all moments. He's an intense guy. He's a unique guy. We love him for that. But like I said, he's earned everything that he's gotten. He starting in the summer. He's the leader. He's the vocal point in the locker room, and we really ride behind that. And it's a lot easier, especially as a D, knowing that you got someone like that behind you. But away from the rink, he's always with the team. He's always with the guys. He's trying to get things going. You can't say many bad things about the kid.
Robbie, goalies are notoriously goofy, quote unquote. And Jack has always seemed pretty normal to me. And then he kissed his skate blade in Wisconsin while it was being changed. Did you guys talk to him about that a little bit? Maybe a little bit of that goofiness coming out?
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't know that, but it doesn't really surprise me. He's definitely a superstitious kind of guy, and he'll do whatever he needs to do to, be prepared for the game. And with the way he's playing, he can do anything right now. He's obviously been the leader on our team and been doing really well back there. So whatever he needs to do, he does it. And like before the games, no one really bothers him, but he goes in his corner right outside the locker room here, and he's doing his writing down notes, doing some hand-eye coordination stuff. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's working.
Hey, Robbie, when you talked about the rivalry and just knowing what's happened in the past, how does that get passed down? I mean, maybe from being from there and living part of it, but for guys that maybe didn't see it growing up, I know there's a bunch on the Wisconsin side that weren't a part of it, but how does that happen? How does the meaning of this rivalry get passed down?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just part when you come here, it's just part of it. I know a lot of the Minnesota guys obviously have been around it, but I think the guys who are out of state and maybe weren't familiar as familiar with Gopher hockey before they came here get acclimated pretty quickly there to the rivalry that's at stake. I just think like when you play, you just notice it right away. There's always going to be guys chirping, yelling. It's a very intense game, and you notice the rivalry pretty quick.
Robbie, amid all the different stuff this year with the schedule changes and COVID testing and remote classes and all of that stuff, has it gotten to be routine now, or do you still wake up thinking, oh my God, I got to do another COVID test today or things like that?
Well, I'm the last guy I think who still doesn't. Today's my last day of the 90 days where you don't have to do testing. I think I was the last guy, so I haven't tested all year because I got it right at the beginning, but. I guess my routine would be thrown out a little bit there, but no, I think the online classes is, at least for me, I've needed to really adjust to like kind of just getting outside my room, taking a break, going outside for a walk or whatever, because if you don't, you can be stuck in your room for pretty much every hour unless you're not at the rink or at Athletes Village getting food. So I think that's important to kind of just get your mind off it, interact with people. 6 feet apart, obviously, but just kind of, it's very unusual, but it's kind of the norm now. But you can't get too caught up into it because it really, I don't know. I just feel like the constantly sitting in a room doing homework and then just, I don't know, some guys play Xbox, some guys watch TV, whatever it is. It can get kind of unhealthy if you don't get out and about every once in a while.